Alliance is on YouTube. And according to the monitor, we're now live on YouTube. So with that said, we welcome once again. We're still in our Feast of Leavened Bread. Feast of Leavened Bread 6026. And this is day number 7. We are in the 7th day. For the record of this recording, those who are watching, even the recording, if they're not live with us, today is day number 7 of 8 days of what is the first ever performed Passover and Feast of Leavened Bread 6026. This is day 7. At sundown would be the 8th day, the 8th and final day of this observation and law, this law, ordinance, commandment, and statute of our Passover. I mean, my father already passed over, and now we are in the Feast of Leavened Bread as we rise. As the dead hear my voice, and when they hear my voice, they shall rise. Is that what the scripture says? And for all those who refuse, then they will stay flat. They want to continue to eat unleavened bread, so that means they will not have an yeast in their mind that will enable them to rise. They want to stay flat. That means they're still observing that particular observance that's usually held during April by the Jews, the false Jews, the Edomites over the Middle East, and those who are here in the United States, from the east coast of New York and Miami Beach to the west coast of Los Angeles, California, and Inglewood. The false Jews. Let's prove that. Anyway, speaking of proving, again, this is the 7th day of the first month of our calendar, 6026, that's solar Hebrew calendar. And at the same observance of the other side of the world, according to the Gregorian calendar, today is recognized as Friday, March 17th, 2023. That's March 17th, 2023. And we're looking right now, the clock looks like it's on the East Coast, 20 minutes to 3 on the East Coast, Eastern Standard Time. That's for the sake of this recording. Now, if you're going to join us, we're asking you to please take out a Bible, King James Version. Take out your Bible and take out your strong concordance, because we're going to look up a word. We're going to look up one word today that is in reference and in essence to this passed over and Feast of Leavened Bread. So take out your concordance, grab something to write with. If you were here with us, I would have given you a copy of a page that came out of the book, by the way, of my father in Hebrew. I'm your host. In the Bible, I'm known as Micah. Micah the birthsite. That's in the Bible. That's biblical. Historical, I am known as Mem Yod Kaf Yodid Wavhe. That's Micah Yahweh in English. That's 5 Hebrew characters positioned twice. And they are from right to left again. Mem Yod Kaf Yodid Wavhe. In English, it's translated as Micah Yahweh. And it means who is like Yahweh, or who is like Yodid Wavhe. That's the meaning of that appellation. That is not my name. That is an appellation. My name it consists of 5 Hebrew characters, and none of the 5 are positioned twice. None of those 5 are positioned twice. They are from right to left. Yod, Kaf, Shin, Mem, Sofi. Is pronounced Yokashimiam. It represents the 5th dimension of creation of the planet Earth, water, wind, and life. That's what it means. It also goes to eternity. That's signified by Mem Sophie at the end. It goes forever. Mem means forever. eternity. I am the host of my Father. My Father's name is Yod. He's known as Yod Hidwavhe. He's known as the Mighty God. He's known as Lord. He's known as the Supreme Being. He's also known by some as the Ancient of Days. Some even know him as the Most High in other religions. And some of his rude children has belittled him to become the master teacher. That's a belittling. How could the blessed and holy potentate become the master teacher? The master teacher is the teacher of the potentates. So how could he be the master teacher and the blessed and holy potentate at the same time? And he created teachers. He created teachers. So he's the blessed and holy potentate. This is a book that one of several that he wrote. And in the front cover, as always in all of his books, he put it here. It's here. That's a photo image, black and white, of himself, of that vessel that he used when he was here with us for 72 years. And in his thesis, it says, in part, it says, I am the blessed and only potentate. The blessed and only potentate. That means that he's not the master teacher, but he's the only potentate. Now, since he's the potentate, then I am the potentate's potentate. I am the potentate's potentate. Now, if you want that position, you have to be able to master time. And you must, before you can master time, you must be able to come from the ancient of time. And you must also be able to decipher and prove that you are the one to cut off the 5 days, short the 5 days that were added. You must also be the phantom of mathematics of this book. You must be the phantom of mathematics. And you must also be able to explain why there are 365 days in a year on both sides of the water, the bank of the river. As I was saying a moment ago, if you were here with me, then I would give you a copy of a page 78 that comes out of this book. This is a copy of a Xerox copy of a page 78 that comes out of a book that's titled to the top, Some Facts About Yod-Heh-Wav-Heh, in parentheses, Yahweh's, in English, close parentheses, Hebrew solar calendar. And as I said a moment ago, it's on page 78. I will give you a copy of this page, 78. We're going to go to that in a moment. But before we do, we're about to go to Revelation chapter 3 so I can show you who the Jews are today. Those who call themselves Jews and are not. So go to Revelation chapter 3. Actually, do chapter 2 first. Go to chapter 2. Read verse 9. Revelation chapter 2, verse 9. And read that.
Revelation 2:9, quote,
Mm-hmm.
I know thy works and tribulation.
The person who is saying I in Revelation is the Christ. When you study the name Micah in the Bible, in its history, you will discover, and all churches know throughout history, even of Rome, that Micah is also known as the Christ. He's also known as Yahshua. He's also known as Michael, the great prince. He's also known as Shiloh. He's also known as the Son of Man. All those appellations are Micah. He's also known as the 7 lamps and the 7 pipes to the 7 lamps. He's known as the candlestick, all of gold, with a bowl upon the top. He's known as all of those appellations and symbols and signs. Micah. That's why, and that will explain why they've added the Morithite. Because the Morithite actually identifies in crypto the Moor with sight. The only one with sight who can see.
Right.
If you like to challenge that, then you can look in the Bible and you can show me and write to me and show me where else in the Bible where you find someone else who's known as a Morrisite.
Right.
Since he is the Morrisite, then it couldn't be any more
It can't be.
because he's the. If there were more, there would be a Morrisite. There is no more. Why? Because there's no more with the sight that I have. So that's me saying I know thy works and poverty. What does it say?
And tribulation
And tribulation.
and poverty.
I said that. And poverty. But thou art rich.
Yeah.
And I also know the blasphemy of them who say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. Now the synagogue of Satan.
Yeah.
Is that what it said? I'm not reading it. I'm just asking you though. I can't see in the back of my head. I know it's on the screen. That must mean I'm the one who I said the Hebrew, now I'm saying the English.
Mhm.
So since they say they are Jews, go to chapter 3 now. Go to the next chapter. Says that's 9. See, that's complete. That's 9. You have 2 9, 3 9. That's complete. I'm here to complete the lie today. We're going to complete the lie. So read verse 9 of chapter 3 of Revelation. What does that say?
Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie.
They lie.
Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee.
Well, that straightens that out. That explains that. They're lying. They say Jews, but there is no J in Hebrew. So where does Jew come from? Now, we ask you, take out something to write with and take notes too. And you should have a dictionary, because now we're going to look up Jew. Now, we have a dictionary in case you don't have one. Let's see what the Jew is, since they mentioned Jew. Or do you have your concordance? We're going to go to that too. Go to Jew. Go to Google. Look in the dictionary first. See what Jew says in the dictionary. Jew. And let's see what Jew says in the dictionary. Our online computer software dictionary.
Jew, quote,
What is it? What is it?
a member of the people.
Now we have members. So that means a member of what?
Of the people.
Of the people. That means those who say they're Jews, they became members of the people. Of what?
And a cultural community whose traditional religion is Judaism and whose trace.
I'm going to imagine that that's the first definition. I can't see it.
Mm-hmm.
So they want to write their way into the tradition of Hebrew. Read the rest of it.
And who trace their origins through the ancient Hebrew people of Israel to Abraham.
That's what that
End
says.
quote.
End quote. That must have been revised like in the early 2000s, or maybe even after 2010, because not once did I hear you say Judah.
Not once.
That means they wrote their way in a membership and created a synagogue that you can join if you want to be Jewish,
Mhm.
such as you would if you want to be a Catholic, or if you want to be Baptist, or if you want to be a Methodist or Presbyterian. You can join the church. If you're not satisfied with being a Catholic, then you can go next Sunday to a Methodist church or a Baptist, and you can join that and become a member. Just pay your tithes and your dues every month, right? So I'm going to take a guess that they may have a second definition. Always remember this, and I taught you this years ago, that when you look at the dictionary today, whether it be Merriam-Webster's, a collegiate dictionary, or unabridged dictionary, they're going to give you the most modern definition that they created first. Then they're going to give you an etymological definition of the source of where that comes from. I mean, there has a root to this word Jew, of the original. Now, we have a dictionary here that I'm not going to actually get it because it's heavy as a car. And probably about the size of one, too. 1909, it goes back to 1903. But I guarantee you, if you look at that dictionary, it's not going to give you that definition that you just got off the inside of the internet. But let's see if there's another definition on the internet of this computer software in Google. What do you have?
That Google software only gave us one definition.
One definition?
Yeah.
Go down to Merriam-Webster's. It should be there.
Can we in the Merriam-Webster's now?
What's Merriam-Webster have?
Okay, for under one, they have a person belonging to a continuation.
Wait, no, hold on. It's member.
A person.
So all of a sudden we went from member to now a person. That's per son. Per son. That means one per son.
Mhm.
Now if there's two, it'd be per sons and per daughters, because they were not only sons, they were daughters. So a per son that what?
Belonging to a continuation.
Continuation. So they're not members. That would explain why they're not members. Because if you get tired of the Catholic Church, you no longer want to be a Catholic and go to Methodist, then you no longer it's not going to be continued. I cut off my continuation of being a Catholic, so now I'm going to go to Methodist, and that's it. But this is a continuation of a person. Of what?
Through descent.
Through a descent.
Mm-hmm.
Descendants.
Mm-hmm.
That are what?
Or conversion.
Conversion. Now they want to convert you to being a Jew. That's Miriam and Webster. They both put it together. Miriam and Webster. And what else?
Of the ancient Jewish
Oh,
people.
now we have ancient Jewish people as if there was an ancient Jewish people. And I believe we have a book here, Guinness Book of Records. I believe we have a Guinness Book of Records. Jewish people.
Jewish people.
Okay. Is there any other definition?
They have under number 2. They have one whose religion is Judaism.
One whose religion is Judaism.
Yeah.
Religion.
Religion.
Now we go from a person to Judaism.
Mm-hmm.
And what else?
Number 3.
I know it's more. Because we haven't found what we wanted yet.
Yeah. A member of the tribe of Judah.
Now that's what we're looking for. I'm going to take a wild guess that that's the last definition.
They have one more.
Wait, but we stumbled on this one as a member of the tribe of Judah.
Yeah.
So we went from a person right back to a member. Why? Because that member come from Mem, of the birth error rate, BER, member, of the tribe of Judah. What else?
Of the subsection B, they have Israelite.
Oh, Israelite and not Israeli.
Mm-hmm.
Now, those in the Middle East will call themselves Israelis, and they are Jews. But here in the dictionary online, you have Israelite.
Mm-hmm.
So that means that's part of the more of the light of the moral sight of Micah. Is that right?
Yeah.
All right. But you mentioned a moment ago in one of the definitions, you have Jew, Jewish. You also have Jew.
Mm-hmm.
And you said Judah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you said ancient. Now, in order to be ancient, you got to go back over 1,000 years. And to be safe, we can say over 2,000 years. But just for the foundation of it, we can say 1,000. Now, if this is true, then we should see Jews over 1,000 years ago. At least the word. How you spell Jew?
J-E-W.
J-E-W. The first letter is what?
J.
You also said Judah.
Judah.
The first letter of Judah is what?
J.
Now, is Judah English or Hebrew?
That's English.
It's English. And when I mean with Hebrew, it will be Yehuda. Okay. But since they say they are now members and they have adopted this Judaism, or they became members, then we should go back a few thousand years and see if Judas exists, or if the Jews existed, of ancient people. So I have here the Guinness Book of World Records. There's the cover. You see it? Guinness Book of Records. Right here. 1993. Is that what it says?
Yeah.
This is the 1993 edition. You know, if you're familiar with the Guinness Book of World Records, this is a book that publicizes world records that like it has never happened before. People that have done something that's never happened before. You know, like for example, somebody stuck their hand in the oven and put it on 400 degrees instead of for 5 minutes, and it didn't get burned. So they got to put that against the Book of Records. That would be a record.
No, that definitely would be.
Let the hand stay in the oven for 5 minutes at 400 degrees and don't take it out, and it don't get quenched or burned. No blisters or nothing. See, not only would that be a world record, that'll be a ghost. That'll be a fairy tale. It'll also be a cartoon. It's impossible.
Right.
Another record would be if somebody go on a twin-story building on the top of the roof, right? Jump off, fall down, get up, and walk away. That won't be a record. Again, that'll be cartoon. But records are like someone stayed up for 3 days in a row without closing their eyes. 72 hours without closing their eyes to go to sleep. Someone watching them, or they take turns, shifts, make sure they don't close their eyes or put it on a recording. And they don't close their eyes. Now they will put that person in the Guinness Book of Records. And they'll put the person's name down, the date that it happened, the city or country that they live in, etc. Well, this is the book for that, the 1993 edition. And on page 147 of this book, page 147, I have highlighted. I'm going to read it. It's highlighted. It says under alphabet, newest letters, italicized, newest letters. Don't forget, this is the 1993 edition. 1993 edition. I quote, the newest letters to be added to the English alphabet are, quote, J, end quote, and, quote, V, end quote, comma, which are of post-Shakespearean use. Copyright 1630. 1630. And that's period. As I continue, formerly they were used only as variants of, quote, I, end quote, the ninth letter, and U, quote unquote, which I believe is the 19th, 20th letter? Actually, the 21st letter, U. The 21st letter, U. So in other words, that's end quote. So in other words, the letter J and the letter V, both letters, were added to the already 24 alphabets in the year 1630, which is the 17th century. And that's AD. AD, after the death of who they call Jesus. That means that over 2,024 years ago, there was no man or woman walking on this earth whose name was Jesus or Josephine or Judy or Juliet or Jerry or John or Jeremiah or Jennifer or just us. No such thing. And no language. So since the name that they say of the Christ is Jesus, then how could he have existed? Or how could that be his name? Now, the man existed, but not the name. And neither was he white, but blonde hair, blue eyes, and a beard, blonde beard. That means since there was no J, there were no Jews. And since there were no Jews, then I have some news. It's a lie. And we just read that. They do lie. Now you see where the lie come from. They're not Jews. Never existed. So now you know the lie. That's the mystery of the lie. No Jews. That's Yehuda. Go to the Bible now on the screen and go to chapter 14 of Yirmiyahu. It's not Jeremiah. Yirmiyahu. Yirmiyahu with a yod. Yirmiyahu. Chapter 14 and read verse 2. Since you are so into these Jews on Miami Beach and New York and Inglewood and Los Angeles, California, all over in the north and Michigan, in Texas, all over the country, you into the Jews who say they're Jews or Israelis, the Middle East. and they're not. Let's see what color complexion that they have, of skin complexion. Yirmiyahu chapter 14 and verse 2.
Yirmiyahu 14:2, quote, Judah mourneth, and the gates thereof
See how they
languish.
put the J there? That's because this Bible was translated in 1611.
Mhm.
Well, actually, to the 17th century, it was first published in 1611. But they started translation back in the 16th century, and later 1598 they started translating this Bible and put it together for the King of England, Yaakov. By the way, his name was Yaakov, not James. James is English for Yaakov.
Mhm.
No, there's no James. So they what? They mourned and
They
what?
mourneth, and the gates thereof
They're
languish.
what?
They are black unto the
Now we're
ground.
dealing with a whole nation of people that are black from the head to the foot to the ground.
Mhm.
Yehuda.
Yehuda.
Go to your concordance. You typed in Jew. Go to the search box of your concordance and type in Jew first. That's who it takes us to. Straighten out this lie. See, we're on international social media. Some people may not have known this.
True.
So it was promised that I would come along and tell them the truth. And that shall make you free. Not set you free. My father set you free. And you refused to be free. You didn't want to be free. He set you free and you didn't want to be free. That's why you left and went back out. You went backward. But it was told that I would come and make you free. So one you'll find in the Bible, verbatim as read, make you free. That's John 8:32. But then one came and created his own self, self-resurrected, and he came and set you free. What does that say?
We have H3064.
Click on it. H3064. That's under
Judah.
Jew. Okay. That's under Judah? Oh, you have Jew in the Old Testament too. It should be in Esther. So yeah, in Esther. So in other words, the first Jews they say in the Old Testament come from Esther. And there was no Esther either. That's SD. ESTI. That's the star. Click on it what it takes you to in the Hebrew.
Yehudi.
Yehuda. Yehudi. You should have etymology.
Yeah, we do.
We want the etymology where it come from. Where it come from?
3063.
H3063. And what's that say?
That's Yehuda.
Yehuda. Yod Hid Wav Dalet. Hey.
Hey.
Yod Hid Wav Dalet. Hey. Yehuda. With a Yod. Huh?
Yeah.
No J.
No J.
So I mean, those who were and are black into the ground, Yehuda,
Yehuda.
are Hebrew, not Jewish.
Not Jewish.
Okay. Now go to Jew. You clicked on Jew?
That's Jew.
That's Jew.
That's Jew.
Now go to Judah. Jew took you to Judah.
Jew took us to
What?
Yehuda.
Jew took you to Yehuda.
Yeah.
So go to Yehuda and see where Yehuda gonna take you. See if it take you to Jew. Now Jew took you to Yehuda. Jew took you to Yehuda. Now if it's true, then Judah should take if it's a such thing. Is that right?
That's right.
I mean, if it's true.
It's true.
Since Jew took you to Yehuda, then it only make common sense for Yehuda to take you back to Jew. So let's see where Yehuda takes you to. Click on that. What's it say?
Right now, we're in Yehuda.
It should take you even to the which son he is of your Israel, of Jacob. It should say something like he's the fourth son of Jacob, grandson of Abraham, actually of Isaac, great grandson of Abraham. See what you do is you type in Judah in the search box. It takes you to how many times it's printed in the Bible, and click on any one of those and start from Genesis chapter 32 or 35. Type in Judah in the search box, and then it's going to take you probably to Genesis chapter 32. If not 35.
Genesis 29.
29. Okay.
The H 3063.
Okay. Oh, that's right. It takes you 29 because he has a mother. And Jacob had all these wives, and they had different sons.
Mm-hmm.
So he comes from the first wife
Right.
because she had six
Yeah.
sons.
Mm-hmm.
Jew's the fourth. Okay. That'd be Leah.
And Leah.
Okay.
Leah.
So click on what it takes you to.
Yehuda.
It takes you to Huda.
Yehuda.
Keep reading, you're gonna see Jew. You don't see Jew?
Don't see Jew anyway.
Well, how could that be?
No Jew.
How could Yehuda not take you to Jew? Unless your Jew take you to Yehuda. You see the lie?
It's a lie.
And they're black
Right to the ground.
to the ground. So now since Yehuda is black, he comes from Leah. Leah had to be black.
Yeah.
His father is Yaakov or Yishrael.
Mm-hmm.
So he had to be black. Not albino.
Mm-hmm.
Black.
Black.
2 black parents with 6 black sons.
Yeah.
And 3 more wives,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
With 6 more sons
Yeah.
to make 12. All 12 black.
Black.
So Israel is black.
Black.
So that means those who are in the Middle East today who say they're Israelis are not. They're Israelis, but they're not Yehuda. They're not Yehudites. Neither are they Israelites. They're Israelis. Israeli. 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 So they are Israeli. As it said in Revelation chapter 2, verse 9 and chapter 3, verse 9. They are liars. And that means of true Hebrew Yehudites are the so-called African American people in this country. It's called, and they were brought into slavery during the 16th century, and they're still here today. Also known as Negroes, colored people, blacks, and just to name a few. But today, most even Afro Americans, but most commonly known today as African Americans, and that's a lie, because Israel is not in Africa. Israel is the Middle East, north of Africa. Got it?
Got it.
All right. If you look at the map, you're going to see Africa as a continent with 54 countries in it. And if you look over to the northeast, you'll see a little tiny piece of land that's called Israel, right in the middle of the East. See, Middle East. Right Middle East, north of Africa, south of Europe, in the middle of the planet. It's called Earth, but it's not. Anyway, I had to take you through a little historical moment, since they refused to tell my people of that last month, that's known as February, that they have also declared and deemed as National Black History Month. February, they refused to tell them that. So I had to come and remind them of that.
Yeah.
But the reason why we came on today is because my people are still recognizing this calendar. As I mentioned a moment ago, we are now in our 7th day of the observance of Feast of Leavened Bread, as we had Passover last Friday at sundown. Passover. That means my father had already passed over in the ship. That was back in the days of Egypt. And here we are now again in another spiritual Egypt, according to Revelation chapter 11, verse 8. This land is spiritually being called Sodom and Egypt. Here we are again. Now, if you want to go back and research the history, I'm done with that subject, of what happened to Judah, you can go to Deuteronomy and read chapter 28. Make a note, Deuteronomy 28, and start at verse 15. And you read all the way to verse 68. It will tell you what happened to Judah and why Judah's here today in the United States. You also make a note for Genesis chapter 15, verse 13, that Judah will be taken to the land of strangers that's not theirs and be treated evil for 400 years. That has been confirmed in Acts chapter 7, verse 6 of the New Testament. That's Judah. As well as what you just read in Yirmiyahu chapter 14, verse 2, and chapter 13, verse 19, that it were taken captive, all of it. The cities of the south, Judah, taken captive, all of it. Is that right?
That's right.
Right. Now, as I said, in the same book, see, something happened last Sunday, March the 12th, at 1 o'clock in the a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then whatever 1 o'clock came, whatever 1 o'clock that morning came, whether it was east, central, or west, they moved their clocks. They cannot move the days. They moved the clocks. Now, and they said that time changed. It did not. They moved the clocks forward 1 hour. And they tried to keep it with the vernal equinox of the spring to save more daylight. So the only thing they can do is move the clocks. We are not governed by the clocks. We are governed by the sun. Got that?
Yeah.
That means if I ask you what time it is right now, you'll tell me it's 3:15 on the East Coast, or 3:14, when it's not. Well, I would ask you what time is it in Los Angeles. Then you'll say something like, well, it's 12:14, and it's not. Now, I ask you, what day is it over in the Middle East right now, over in Africa? Well, you'll say it's Saturday morning. It's not. So I ask you, well, what time is it then? You ask me, what time is it? If you ask me what time, see, if I ask you what time it is, you're going to say, well, now it's 3:15. But if you ask me what time it is, I'm going to tell you the time that it is now is the same time as it was yesterday. And the same time is going to be tomorrow. It's the same time. So if you come to me like that many minutes after 3 tomorrow, I'm going to tell you it's the same time as it was yesterday. And the same time as it was, so it's going to be tomorrow. So time does not change. So what time was it last Friday? The same time as it is this Friday. Didn't change. Yeah, but last Friday it was 2:15. No, it was not. Last Friday was the same time as it was the Friday before that. Same time. But what time is it going to be next Friday? The same time as it is now. What about Saturday? The same time. They just changed the day. In fact, the day went another vernal 24-hour of a cycle. 24 hours. Now you're into the next day. Our days are not named. Let's go back to here. I'm going to share this. It's in this book. What I would like for you to do now is take your highlighter, get ready. You're going to highlight the top of the paper that I gave you. Highlight it right here. Highlight that. That means last Friday at sundown, our solar calendar went into a new year. It became the first day of our next year. We don't have a new year. We don't have New Year's. There's nothing new under the sun. And our years are governed by the sun, so that's not new. We're not a January 1st after 1 o'clock type of people that say Happy New Year. We're not January 1st people. Neither are we December 31st at 11:59 people are shooting guns and killing up a whole bunch of folks. As the bullets go up, they come back down, hit somebody in the head and kill them. Or they go on somebody's windshield in the car and break it. And I actually saw it with my own eyes that people stand out at 11:59, January 31st, actually December 31st, they stand out in the street, right? And take their nines and their Glocks and their submachine guns and their Uzis and fire up in the air, not realizing that those bullets are only going to go up so high up in the air, and they're going to lose velocity, and they're going to come down, maybe even a mile away from where they went up, and they're going to fall on top of somebody's head, or house, or car, or child, and kill them. Because as little as you know, they come down faster than they go up. You didn't know that? It's lead. It's made out of lead. And I'm a witness that every year someone's killed at 12:01, January 1st. Let's not even speak of 12 o'clock or between 11:59 and 12:01. That's when their new day begins. Now that you highlighted this, our Sabbath day also begins at sundown. Last Friday became our new Sabbath day. because it was rotated. It's a new rotation. It's the next rotation. Next year, next rotation. Our Sabbath day rotated from sundown Thursday to sundown Friday, and now it's from sundown Friday to sundown Saturday. It rotated to the next day. That's our Sabbath day. We did not add on 5 days to our calendar. Now, it was promised. Why? It was promised that in the last days, the Christ would come and shorten the days for the elect's sake. Turn to that, read it so you can see it. Go to Matthew chapter 24 and read verse 21, verse 21 and 22. This is our daily leavened bread for the day. Tonight we're going to socialize as our closing of this week, Feast of Leavened Bread, and we're going to enjoy ourselves. If you want to join us, you are watching. We're in Miami of Florida, on a subsection called Brownsville, suburb, Brownsville. And if you want to come and join us, if you are in Washington, you can make it. You have your private jet, or if you're in New York and you have a private jet, you can make it. Then notify us to the comment, and we'll give you the address, or we'll pick you up at the airport. We'll invite you to come and you can sup with us. We're going to have fried fish and kosher vegetables and kosher meals. Kosher, everything kosher. We're also going to have homemade cornbread with leaven in it to make it rise. So you're welcome to come and join us. And you have never had a meal like what we cook here. Read that, please.
Matthew chapter 24, start at verse 21. Quote,
Mhm.
For then shall be great tribulation,
That's happening. What?
such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time.
That's happening. Go look at the weather reports and go look at the catastrophic events that are happening now from coast to coast of the United States and from country to country on the planet. Even a hurricane that was formed that tore up one part of the Indian Ocean in the countries over in the ocean.
So, what?
Read on. Read verse 20. That's 20. Read verse 22.
Verse 22. And except those days should be shortened.
See, we have to come out of this. What?
There should no flesh be saved.
See, opposed to those that are being destroyed and killed, if the days are not shortened, no flesh should be saved. And that includes the elect. But
for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened.
Shall be, and they were. That shortened mean back in the 9th century, as early as the 9th century BCE, the Romans took it upon themselves to add on 5 days to their calendar. Now, at one time, before that, the Romans and all of Europe were observing the Hebrew solar calendar. Why you think October is called October? Because it was at one time it was being recognized as the 8th month.
Yeah, true.
October, the 8th month. They converted it to become the 10th month.
Yeah.
Go back to your dictionary. Even September became the 7th month, September. In fact, go to your Bible and look up your dictionary and type in December. That means 10. December means 10. And let's see, get a good dictionary, and they're going to tell you first that December the 12th month of the Gregorian calendar.
Yeah.
And then you're going to look deep into the archives and the etymology of it. It's going to tell you that at one time, it's the 10th month of the Roman calendar. It should.
Yeah. And then, of course, they have
What they have.
that December is the 12th month of the Gregorian.
That's the first,
calendar.
right, exactly, like I said.
Mhm.
And what else it has? You got to get a good dictionary out of it.
Okay, now we have the etymology.
What's the etymology?
Etymology, Middle English,
Middle English,
December, from
December,
Old English,
From
or
Old English.
Anglo-French, both from Latin, December, 10th month.
10th month.
Can,
You see it in the dictionary.
can,
That's online.
can,
So why they recognize it as the 12th month?
can,
It says Old English, didn't it?
can.
Yeah, because they changed times and laws. 10th month. Go look up now October. It should say the same thing. October. And when I say same thing, they're going to say it's the 10th month. But they're going to take you to Old England and they're going to take you to the 8th month.
Yeah. Okay. In the beginning, they have the 10th month of the Gregorian calendar.
October.
October.
Gregorian.
Gregorian.
What else they have?
Now we go down to the etymology.
What they have?
The Middle English, October,
Uh-huh.
from Old English and Anglo French.
What?
Old English, October, from Latin,
Right.
8th month
The 8th month
of the early Roman
of
calendar.
the early Roman calendar, like I said. So why'd they add 5 days on the year? Here's what they did. They added a day, an extra day, to 7 months of a year.
Mm.
They added an extra day to 7 months, beginning with January. So what you have? You have January, March, May, July, and August, which are back to back. October, December.
Mm.
You got it?
Yeah.
That's 7 days.
Mm.
So why? So now you would say, well, why don't they add on the 7 days? How come it's not 367 days? If they added 5 days at one time, it was 360 days, but not those 5 they added.
Right.
It's because they took 2 days away from February.
Right.
2 away from February.
Yeah.
28 days. Now you got your 5.
Mhm.
Got it? Those 5 days were added to that calendar to prolong their rulership. And now you're looking at, now when you go back to your sheet, what I like for you to do, this comes from this book. I gave you a sheet. I'm going to go to the book. My father wrote in this book on page 78. And on the left side, he has 2 columns. On the left side of the column, on the left side it says Yod-Heh-Wav-Heh, Beit Lucifer, Yod-Heh-Wav-Heh, Yahweh ben Yahweh's calendar. See that? Yahweh ben Yahweh. It says Genesis chapter 1, verse 14 through 18. You have that?
Yeah.
And it starts out with day starts at sundown. So, right? Don't highlight anything. I only want you to highlight. I'll tell you what to highlight. And on the right side of the calendar of the columns, it has a circular system lunar, the gods of this world. You see it?
Yeah.
I mean, the gods of this world create everything on the right side. See it?
Yeah.
They create everything. It stars in the middle of the night, midnight. We're not going to go over every column. I'm speaking of a specific subject. Okay, I'll let you know what subject is. Now you're going to highlight the subject, but not that one. What I'd like for you to do now is go to YouTube and let's look at a 1986 recording that my father made in his office here in Miami, Florida, in 1986. That was recorded at the international headquarters at the time. That's known as it was known as the Temple of Love, international headquarters. All right, at one time.
Yeah.
So go to YouTube, and let's pick up a little bit of that recording. We're not going to play the whole thing. We're going to play the fundamental of it, the basic.
Why do you have a Sabbath on a Monday? I mean, I know that Saturday. Why do you have a Sabbath on a Monday? Saturday and Sunday, but I've never heard of Sabbath on a Monday.
Right.
Why do you have a
We got to forward it.
Sabbath on a Monday? I mean, I know that Saturday and Sunday, but I've never heard of Sabbath on a Monday.
Right. It will rotate in perfection for every day of the week. For example, in 1987, it will be on Tuesday, and in 88 on Wednesday. It goes in a cycle of perfect sevens because we observe solar time. Right. It will rotate in perfection for every day of the week. For example, it will rotate in perfection for every day of the week. It will rotate in perfection
and whoever had this, you of course you can see they edited it
Yeah.
to repeat itself as if someone's deaf and all.
Right.
We got the comprehension.
Come on.
Yeah.
But what you're saying is our days, our Sabbath day rotate from year to year.
Mm-hmm.
It will go to the next year, the next day, the next year, the next day, the next year. And as I mentioned a moment ago, we were observing our Sabbath day from sundown Thursday to sundown Friday.
Right.
That's 6,025. Now we're 6,026. We're now observing from sundown Friday to sundown Saturday. Our Sabbath day rotates. That is all we need to know.
Mm-hmm.
It rotates,
Yeah.
right? Now go back to your website. Go to look up year. Go to the copy I gave you. Look in I believe the 7th column. Count down to the columns,
Mm-hmm.
right? And in the 7th column, do you see 365 days in a year?
Yeah.
By the way, that is the title of this testimony. 365 days in a year. Now that's on the left side. You go up 2 more columns and you should be to the 5th column. How many days do we have are there in a month, each month?
30 days.
There are 30 days in each month. Highlight that. That's what you highlight. That's the left column. Now look at the right column in the Daniel 2:21 of the gods of this world. And by the way, as we read in Matthew 24 and 22, chapter 24 and 22,
Mm-hmm.
we did not add those 5 days on.
Right.
And that's why we're now observing 360 days a year. And that's why we are now observing our feast during this time. You highlight it?
Yeah.
Now look at what it says on the right side. Don't highlight that. We're going to highlight what's the sun. See, we're highlighting the sun. It's yellow. Highlight.
Right.
But look at the dark side. On the right side, it says what? There are 20 or 31 days in varying months of 12 months.
Yeah.
Notice that my father didn't put 12 months on the left side. He just put 30 days in each month. That means we should know what each month is,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And how many months is that? See, we don't have 12 months.
Mm-hmm.
Why did he not put 12 months? Because we're not limited to months. Our time is infinite. If we were limited to months, then our months would end.
Mm-hmm.
Our time would end.
Wow.
So you don't know this because you're not me. He wrote this for me to decipher for you today. Don't you know if God was limited to months, he would put month? He would put how many months?
Right.
That means Satan and his devils, his angels, are bound to 12 months.
Well,
And we're not. That's why we go into a cycle. That's why we have the next year.
right.
But it's not even a year. We don't even have year. We have Yom and we have the sun.
Yeah.
Or did you know that? We don't have a YEAR. That's why he has in a year. And a year, not the year. You see that?
Yeah.
Okay, let's prove it. Go back to the 7th column now, and you have 365 days in a year, not 365 days a year.
Right.
In a year. Now, in order to understand that or comprehend that, you must first study year. So go to the search box and look up year. We don't have months, but there are 30 days. We don't have 12 months, but we have months. Why? We count 30 days, and when we get to 30 days, that's a month. And we go to the next month, and the next month. And we continue months until we get to 360, and we start the circle over again. Now, that would also prove why we don't have months, because there is no beginning of the circle.
Right.
and there is no ending of a circle. So our time continues and rotates at the end of 360 days, a complete circle rotates. So what you have,
Year in accordance or Google.
you should see. No. Okay, look up since you got Google. Research what the definition of year is. I'm going to do it too. Let's make sure we're on the same page. What is a year? A definition. See if you have the time taken by the Earth to make one revolution around the sun. Just type in year definition.
That's exactly
That's what you have,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
The time taken by the Earth to make one revolution around the sun. Is that right?
Yeah.
Impossible. Because the Earth is a man
Exactly.
and the sun is a man.
Yeah. Same.
They gave you S-U-N is S-O-N. And when you look at verse 1, that's Earth was created and not made. Earth represents a man. It's not a planet. They named it Earth. Why? Because they took the TH of the for man, the man, right? They took the TH and put it in and removed the Y. You got to hear what I'm saying? Grab your paper, write down Y-E-A-R. What does that spell in English? Year. No such thing. Now you got to find what's in a year. What's in a year? The perfect circle.
Right.
Infinity. 360.
360.
That's knowledge, wisdom, comprehension. Now you're in Revelation chapter, you in Isaiah chapter 11, the 7 spirits for 7 days a week. That's your 7 days a week. The 7 spirits of God that's in the sun, S-O-N. That's also hidden in year, Bethune Sophie. Do you hear what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's not a year. Year is actually Bethune Sophie, the son of. And so is the earth. So what they did was they took the TH of the truth. You got TRU-TH, right? They took true from the east, which is true, T-R-U-E. They took the E off and put the TH at the end of the year to change it. Then they removed the Y off of the year, and they gave you, see, when you write this down, write down E-A-R. That's your ear, because you got to hear. The dead will hear my voice with your ear to go to your mind. You got down E-A-R? Now, right under that, Y-E-A-R. What do you have? Year. Now, right under that, E-A-R-T-H. And what do you have?
Earth.
Now, if you remove the Y from the year, what you have?
Ear.
Now, remove the TH from the earth. What you got?
Ear.
Right, that's 2 ears. You have it?
Yeah.
Now, go to your concordance, as I'm going to also. I'm going to go with you so we can be on one accord. And go to your search box and type in Y-E-A-R. You want to know, I'm going to now reveal to the whole planet who's watching how the sun had power to remove those, to shorten those days. It would be the sun to do that. S-O-N. You have it?
Yeah.
Now, what they did was they knew it. They put 365 days a year. Is that right? That's what you have on your sheet.
Yeah.
And in some places it says 366 days in every 4th year. Right? But with the 365 days a year, if you add those 2 days from February on, how many you have?
67.
367. How many times does a year appear in the Bible? 367 times. Right? And 322 verses.
Yeah.
Now, the most dominant in the Old Testament is reference H8141. Click on it. And then you're going to know why my father put 365 days in a year and not a year or the year. What do you have for H8141?
Shana,
Shana.
that it means
A division of time, as a measure of time, as measure of time, as indication of age, a lifetime of years of life. But that's not where it comes from. It comes from the etymology, which is 8138. Is that right?
Right.
So we must do what? Repeat it. There is no month.
10.
There's not 12 months. It repeats. Do you see it?
Yeah.
To repeat, do again, and even alter. ALTER, that's what we did last week. We altered.
That's exactly.
And we have to alter because they changed it to be repeated. And at the same time, the earth and the year is under disguise. So what I caused them to do was to use the word year and earth to disguise me, to disguise oneself. I'm going to prove it. When you see year, anywhere you go, in any document you look in, and when you see year, it's speaking of the Son of God in disguise, who can come along and change, not change, but put time back the way it's supposed to be. That never changes. Another dominance of this reference, another one would be, if you could look on your accordance, is H. We're going to go to another one. And I believe, let's see. You search with me, you're going to see another one. Other than 8141,
They got 3117.
go to H3117. 3117.
Yo.
Hmm?
Yo.
Yo,
Yeah.
that's what you have?
Yeah.
Hey, what's the meaning?
They have day, time, year.
Oh, they give you daytime, year, etc. Is that right?
The meter with a day, 24-hour period.
Okay. Any etymology?
It's a root.
Hmm?
It's a root.
What's the root?
That is the root.
That is the root. Okay. Go to the fifth column, I believe. I'll go to the next column. Wait a minute. Search column to column. And we're going to give you the mystery on the disguise, one disguise himself, where they hit that and how they knew that, and why they put TH in the ear and the Y in front of the ear. Let's see. Got numbers. Get your book. Get your concordance book. We get the book itself. The computer takes up a lot of our schedule. It don't take up our time.
Right.
It cannot take up our time. let me. Here's a concordance. We have several. This is a concordance to avoid the longevity of the computer software and how much how much it takes up of our schedule. When you go here and look up year, which is next to the last, they even put years in plural, didn't they?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But as I'm doing this, go from column to column.
8, 11, 21.
You have it.
Yeah, 8 to 11, 21.
That's where. Where you find it? Which book?
First Samuel 13.
That I was looking for First Samuel. If I wanted,
Yeah.
it's in First Samuel. Okay, First Samuel. What column is that?
Third column.
The third column. I was looking for Samuel. I was looking for that. Okay, third column. Right, just before Kings.
Mhm.
Okay, what chapter is it? That's what I'm looking for.
Chapter 13.
Chapter 13. When you go to First Samuel chapter 13 and go to read it, read verse 1.
Verse 1.
Read it from the concordance.
Yeah. Quote, Saul reigned 1 year.
That's 1 year that represents one son of God in disguise of the year. And what?
And when he had reigns over Israel,
Now, that's all you need to read. In that column, that verse, they gave you year, 2 references for year. You have the one already that you know of, that's 8141. That takes you to one in disguise.
Right.
That's why they put it next to 1121. Now, click on 1121 so you can see what's in disguise for the year. Who you have?
we have been,
You have Ben, the son of.
yeah, son, grandson,
Right.
child, member of the group.
And a people.
Yeah.
Look at the F definition.
Sons, as characterization, that is, sons or sons of God for angels.
Right.
Yeah.
The years. Look at the etymology. Go to the etymology. And what? Our Father came to establish the kingdom of Shalom.
Kingdom of Shalom.
So under the same definition of year that they hid under reference 8141, you really have someone coming to establish the kingdom of Shalom is going to put time back or the clock back and everything back that they use with time the way it's supposed to be
Yeah.
and rotate the Sabbath day
Yeah.
and no more shortening, no more adding on 5 days.
Mm. Yeah.
Do you see it right there?
See it. Established.
So now what you learn? What you learn is there is no such thing as a year for us. It's the sun. That's why time is ruled by the sun. The whole planet is being governed by the sun. All the planets in the universe are being governed by the sun, H1121, that you think is a year.
Yeah.
And at the same time, they put the Y, they removed the Y from EAR so you can have your ears back, but then they put the Y in front of it and give you a year to get your ear together. Do you see this?
Yeah.
So now you highlight that in your book, on your paper, and on your back of your paper. I know you took notes, but what I should have told you was that all your notes that you took, you should put on the back of this. You can transfer, and some did it. And that way you laminate it, and you're going to put it in your study tools, part of your study tools, and you show people. We don't recognize no years,
Right.
no new year. Why? Because our time is infinite. How could I come and take you back to forever and you still limiting your time to months and years? That's folks who's looking forward to die.
Mhm.
They're looking forward to death.
Yep.
So now you know the mystery. That's the mystery. We don't add. Now you know that we're going to continue on forever.
Yeah.
And our Sabbath day rotates. Now, for all those who are hard-headed, let them go right on ahead and add on their own days and time
Mhm.
and years. Now, as I close, go to Micah. Let me show you where this was promised. Go to Micah chapter, I believe it's 4 or 5. Let's see. Up is. See, I also hid it in the scrolls, and I left it in a parable. So when I return today, my very soul, it's Micah 6:6. See, that's a part of 666. Go to Micah chapter 6. So, and I'm going to also reveal to some who may not have known this. I'm the one who brought you out of Egypt.
Mhm.
I'm the one. It was the soul of the Son of Man, the soul of the Son of None, who brought you out of Egypt. Why? Because my father already passed over.
Yeah.
I'm going to start at verse 2, Micah chapter 6. Verse 2. How about if I start at verse 1? So you'll know. Why? Because the fifth dimension. Hey, don't you see in verses 1 and 2, it begins with H, E-A-R?
Yeah.
You remove the H, you have ear.
Mhm.
In both verses of 1 and 2, you have 2 ears. And you have hey twice for Yud, hey, Wav, hey.
Yeah.
Hear ye now what the Lord saith. Arise, contend thou before the mountains, and let the hills hear thy voice. That's the Lord telling all others to hear my voice. Hear ye, O mountains, the Lord's controversy, and ye strong foundations of the earth. My people. For the Lord hath a controversy with his people, and he will plead with Israel. How? In the face. O my people, what have I done to thee? This is me. I'm speaking today. You know, God is not speaking to you. I'm speaking. This is a book called Micah, not a book called God. This book is called Micah. O my people, what have I done to thee? And wherein have I wearied thee? Testify against me. Have anyone testified against God? So you know it's Micah speaking. They're not, even those who still believe in that name, they use it, Yahweh ben Yahweh. They don't testify against Yahweh ben Yahweh. This testify against me. Is that what it says? Testify against me, period. For I brought thee up out of the land of Egypt. Did you ever know that?
It is.
I brought thee up out of the land of Egypt and redeemed thee out of the house of servants. And I sent before thee Moses. And I did. Go study Exodus chapter 3. Aaron and Miriam. I did. O my people, remember now what Balak, king of Moab, consulted, and what Balaam, the son of Beor, answered him from Shittim unto Gilgal. Oh, shit. Shittim unto Gilgal. It's right here. I'm not, ooh, no, that's shit. Tim. Now go find Tim and watch me say shit right in front of Tim. Tim. Shit him. Timothy. That ye may know the righteousness of the Lord. I'm speaking.
Right.
Wherewith shall I come before the Lord? That's me speaking. And bow myself before the high God. Shall I come before him with burnt offerings? With calves of a year old? That's the mystery. You don't know what that means. So let me reveal it. These calves are not what you think it is. So you haven't studied this. I left this as a parable. These calves are almost like the halves. These calves are not animals. These calves is the halves of 180. These calves are not halves. I mean, they're not calves. They are halves. with the H. I took the H and put it and removed the C because there's no more C. Now you have what? Halves. These halves are 180 times 2 equals 360. That makes a round. It's a parable. Prove it? Yes. Go to H 50. Go to H 5695. They thought it was a calf. There is no more C. Go to H. You got it? 5695. And you're going to find I in there. You're going to also find an angel, an angle. Angle. Got it? Do you see calf?
Yeah.
Remove the C. There's no more C.
Right.
Put an H there.
Half.
Half. You see bull?
Bull. Yeah.
There's no more B. I'm the B. Put F there for faith.
Full.
Full.
Yeah.
Remove the C.
Half.
So now you have a full half.
Yeah.
What's a full half? 2.
So,
What does that make?
oh,
A hole. And what's a hole? A circle. What's a circle? Round.
Yeah.
Now go to the etymology and get freaked out. Get freaked out and go to 5696 and see if I'm lying. And tell me what you have. One word under H 5696.
Round.
Round. No such thing as no calves. Well, like mess with some animals. Show me a calf from Brownsville.
That's crazy.
Show me a cow in somebody's backyard right now today in the city. So what's the year? See, that's round, right? Of a year? No, not the year of the sun.
Right.
A division of time. The round, a division of time. Go to it, 8141. That they got there for you. And it takes you right back to H 8138, which is to do it again.
Yeah.
A measure of time. An indication of age. What age? Ancient of days. So now you have, so calves don't exist, that's halves. Year don't exist because let's do it again. And the old don't exist because that's the sun. Ancient of days.
Yeah.
Look at it, 1121. You're right back where we started. H11, bang, bang through the sun of. I hear the sun on the 6'6". Look at 6'6", 6 feet. Now you know what that is. That's the phantom of the man, of the angel. The phantom of mass. 6'6". Why 2 6s? Each witness. There's 2 witnesses. Each witness have to have a 6. Same soul, 2 witnesses. 6'6". I'm not here to convince anyone who I am. Those who my father brought to me, they're going to stay. They will not move. And no man can come to me except my father draw them to me. And he said he would. He's doing it. With that said, I was told to come on. Remember, I don't like to come on here. But I had to come on. Now, you highlighted that? I mean, you should have highlighted, right? The 7th column highlighted.
Yep.
And the 5th column highlighted. So now you know the mystery of 365 days in a year. Wow, the year is in me, the sun. That's Yom. It's also Yom. Full circle. There's no 365 days, 360 days.
360.
The 5, I'll put 5 there for hey. The 5th dimension. You have any questions? You go question God. Not going to question me. I mean, I'll answer your question, but your question must be moral and rational.
Right.
If you have any comments or you have a rational question, I'll give it to you with a rational answer. I don't answer ignorance. Let me close with Hosea chapter 4, verse 6. Let me show you why. Go to Hosea chapter 4. This is why you didn't know it. This is why you didn't know this knowledge. See, 6, that's my third 6. Hosea chapter 4, verse 6. Yeah, Micah chapter 6, verse 6, Hosea 4, chapter 4, verse 6. They got 666. It's the number of a man. What? My people are destroyed. They are destroyed. Destroyed for the lack of knowledge. Here's your introduction. Why? Because thou hast rejected knowledge. I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me. Can you imagine they do that too? They send me comments and said, and teaching me all. They teaching me. Haile Selassie was also a man. And he went shopping. So who are you? Don't you know the Most High? He's a man, or he has a spaceship. Don't you know the Most High is a spirit? And he came. He said, he come to him in spirit.
Yeah.
Don't you know Hashoshima is the Hebrew rabbi of Ashobalaka? Yeah, the Shaka Khan. Shalom don't mean shalom. It means shalom means shalom. Shalom, shalom. You teaching me? Did you know that the Statue of Liberty was in New York? And that the Niagara Falls divides Canada from the United States? Did you know that women it takes 12 months for a woman to be pregnant? 12 months, but and those who are give birth at 9 months, they early. It's called premature birth at 9 months. Who are you? He didn't chose you. I'm Jesus. And they come. I'm not making this up. They come with I'm the Jesus. I live in Honduras. Do you know Jesus coming back in Honduras? Jesus? Oh yeah, come over. Well, don't be no priest to me. Seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God, I will also forget thy children. In fact, I forgot already. It's nothing new. With that said, well, we're going to thank those for giving us a little bit of their Friday afternoon, wherever they are, or Saturday morning, or whatever day of the week you may be watching the recording. I'm going to say thank you in English and Torah in Hebrew for giving me a little of your time to learn of me. As I said, you should learn of me. Pick up your cross, follow me, and learn of me. My burden is light. Praise Yahweh.
Praise Yahweh.
With that said, I'm going to say Shalom Aleichem, and I pray you stay safe. Stay safe. Wherever you are, stay safe. Praise Yahweh.
Praise Yahweh.
No safety for him, but